Well, good morning and welcome to the show. My name is Jeff Beals. You're a co-host, and you have joined in the only show in the entire metro area that talks about real estate, construction, economic development, business expansion, really fun things related to Omaha becoming a bigger, more vibrant, and prosperous place. And speaking of that, we're going to share some news with you here in a little bit that proves that Omaha is becoming a bigger, more prosperous, and vibrant space. But first of all, without any further ado, it's time to bring on my co-host, a legendary real estate deal maker, Trenton Magid.
Good morning, Joe. Good morning, everyone.
Well, good morning.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. We're
Merry
right in the middle of the
Christmas.
holiday
Happy Hanukkah.
season. Very fun stuff. Hey, we are brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center. And Trenton, you and I have known Dingman's Collision Center for a long time. In fact, you do all their real estate representation.
I do. And wonderful, wonderful people. And great family. Their last name is Dingman. They've got 4 public locations. They've got additional locations for all the work that they do. And couldn't be nicer people or more talented people. And as your dad can attest, I usually have a car over there.
Yeah, you do have a little bit
Beals
of...
thinks that I get in a lot of accidents. Jeff brought that up last night. I do not get in a lot of accidents. Unfortunately, this year, someone hit me in March, a young girl. I forgave her, pretty much. And I may have had a infraction.
Did they forgive you?
The day before Thanksgiving. Very nice lady. And nobody was hurt except my car.
Because some people think that just because we stump for Dingman's Collision Center that you're purposely getting in accidents, just so we have something to talk about.
We like to support our sponsors.
Well, without any further ado, let's get into our news of the week, which, speaking of sponsors, is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage. They are the premier mortgage broker in the metro area. Mortgage broker, what does that mean? Well, it means that they can shop a variety of different banks. They're not beholden to just one bank. And so that opens up a lot of options for you, the borrower, the customer of Eagle Mortgage. We highly recommend them, and it doesn't matter whether you're going to go conventional loan, FHA, VA, they handle all of that. Been in the business for about 30 years and just very customer focused. Give it a try if you're thinking about dipping your toe in the home buying pool over the next few months, and a lot of you are. Give them a call. You can reach them at 114th and Davenport at the office or online at eaglemortgagecompany.com. All right, well, first up on the list, we have some cool news about economic conditions in the metro area. And this is very, very encouraging. The U.S. Bureau for Economic Analysis recently published a whole bunch of data about gross domestic product in counties and metro areas. In fact, if you want to find out about gross domestic product in metro areas, see the big story in this week's Grow Omaha newsletter. You can access it through the growomaha.com website. But something that was not in that story, a new piece of information, Douglas County, the county that, of course, is home to the city of Omaha, turns out was number 1 in the nation for large counties over 500,000 people, for most GDP growth in 2022. And Trenton, the GDP growth for Douglas County last year was 9.2%. A lot of growth in one year. The biggest cause of the sharp increase, according to the Bureau of Economic Analysis, was the finance and insurance industry, which apparently grew a lot last year in this county.
I'm not sure how it grew, those industries. I'm glad to hear it. And it's nice to get something from the federal government statistics as opposed to like Hub Wallet or some of the other things.
Nerd Wallet.
Nerd Wallet. And we have all these weird, all these online sites that need to have a ranking. And this is the creme de la creme.
Yeah, so there are, among counties, well, we said it's number 1 among counties with 500,000 people or more. There are 145 counties in the nation that meet that qualification. So becoming number 1, and that was pretty impressive. Now, not every one of the large counties in the country grew. In fact, Oklahoma County, which is the home of Oklahoma City, had the largest decrease in GDP in 1 year, negative 5.3%.
Probably had a couple tornadoes or something.
Yeah, they say it was because of problems in the mining industry. A lot of energy companies based in Oklahoma. So of the top 500 counties, or of the 145 counties that are above 500,000, 129 of them saw GDP increases, 16 saw decreases, and one was unchanged. Now, this is a little piece of trivia related to Nebraska and the topic we're discussing. You might find this interesting. Trenton, how many counties do you think there are ballpark in the entire nation? Not just big counties, but total counties in the nation. We've got 93.
Okay.
Okay, this is radio. Got to say it quick.
I'll say 4,897.
Not bad. It's 3,114, and honestly, I would have guessed more than 3,000 myself. But so let's call it 3,100. And the biggest GDP, total amount of goods and services produced in any single county, was $790 billion. And that was in Los Angeles County. But Nebraskans will find this interesting. Number 3,114, the county with the least GDP output in 2022 was in what state? Nebraska. Want to guess what county it is?
Cherry.
No, Arthur County, which is not terribly far from Cherry. So Arthur County, Nebraska produced a grand total of $11.4 million. So let's go on to some of the other news of the week. Oakview Mall has new ownership, Trenton.
Kind of.
And yeah, that's a good point, because one of the owners essentially bought out the other, or at least so it appears. But a lot of people keep asking about this, is there a future for Oakview and that sort of thing? And this person said in a KETV story, the owner, his name is Felix Resnick, and he said he plans to add new entertainment concepts and children's entertainment to the mall. I hope he knows what he's doing, because I personally do not envy him. I wouldn't want to own it, but maybe this Resnick has great ideas.
My understanding is that he and his team converged on Omaha. They had a nefarious partner out of New York who is notorious for having a lot of malls that they just kind of milk them, thinking that they're gonna flip them, or they're gonna do something else. I don't know what it doesn't seem like a winning strategy, but 4D Properties, which is Felix Resnick from Florida, he's got an aggressive leasing team from Lund Company. Holly Jones is leading that team, good friend of ours, and he's got his hands full. He got rid of his partner. He's worried about his reputation, it sounds like, and it's a great location, but you've got the part that he owns is about 534,000 feet, but he doesn't own 3 of the big boxes. So to tear that thing down would probably be $5 million or a lot more. To repurpose it, you got a bunch of land there. So so you got 3 other owners that you got to get agreed to. All indications are that Dillard's will move to the Westroads. It's
not official yet, but it's sounding like there's a chance.
Everyone tells us that, and I would bet on it, but who knows? We'll see. And then let's see if JCPenney holds out. And let's. I think it's in better hands than it was 2 weeks ago, but it still has its challenges just because of the structure, the product type. To turn it inside out, or to make an enclosed mall popular these days, is a difficult challenge.
Yeah, my guess would be if Dillard's does indeed move to the Westroads, which sounds like there's a good chance, I personally would be quite surprised if JCPenney stayed open there. But who knows? You never know, and maybe this new owner, or this new complete owner, has some amazing plans.
You get unsolicited ideas from our listenership and people, and I was on a couple TV stations and on KFAB with Gary Sotomayor in the morning when news was talking about this thing was on the market, and people, they have no concept of scale, and I appreciate people sending me these things, but they show apartments and then buildings over the ring road, and so it has a lot of potential, but it takes really deep pockets. It's not, unless they change some laws, it's not you can't get tax increment financing, TIF. There's not a lot of incentives over there, except you're buying probably $150, $200 million structure that has been around for a while for maybe $10 million or whatever they sell it for, if they sell it. No.
Sometimes the fantastical renderings that Grow Omaha listeners send us for future developments in Omaha remind me a little bit of some futuristic city from Star Wars or Star Trek or something like that. But
keep them coming. We appreciate it.
We do thoroughly enjoy them. The state of Nebraska has signed a $500,000 no-bid contract. This actually occurred back in August with Omaha-based Philanthropic Trust to determine the feasibility of raising in excess of $900 million in private money to build the 4,000-acre sandpit lake that has been talked about along the Platte River, most likely west of Gretna. And so we'll keep an eye on this. We know that lake, which as has been lightly proposed so far, would be about maybe 7 miles long, would be a big economic boost and a big benefit to the metro area, but a big cost as well.
It'll probably have more traction than Lake Nebraska by flooding Ashland and turning it into Atlantis or something.
The Opus Group has started construction on the Stores Warehouse, a speculative industrial flex building at 5902 North 9th Street. That's just a little bit west of Epley Airport. 202,000 square foot building, an 11.5-acre site. Construction is underway. Why do they call it the Stores Warehouse? Because it's named after the historic Stores Brewery, which operated not terribly far from there. R&R Realty has broken ground on a 286,000 square foot warehouse building at 156th and Schramm Road in Papillion. This is just southwest of the Google data center in that area. It's actually called R&R Commerce Park South. Trenton, that entire area is blowing up with industrial buildings.
And they got more land to build more.
Coming more on the way. And that is your news of the week, which is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com. Going to take our first break of the hour, and when we come back, we're going to bring on Corey Taylor. He is with Turner Construction. We're going to talk to Corey about a few different construction topics, issues, maybe some projects that are going on in the area. If you like construction talk, you're going to enjoy this. So stay with us. You're listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center on News Radio 1110 KFAB. And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals sitting next to Trenton Magid here in the KFAB studio in beautiful downtown Dundee. We're brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center for metro area locations. Well, longtime listeners know that our favorite subject on the planet is construction. And a lot of times we like to just kind of talk about construction projects and the local construction industry. And we have a name that we know well, Corey Taylor. He is with Turner Construction, has joined us. Corey, welcome to the show.
Jeff, Trenton, thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. And, a lot of people know that Turner Construction is the sponsor of our lightning round, the thing we do at the end of the show, and we talk about a lot of topics in a short period of time. So I guess first I would say thank you to you and your colleagues for helping us bring this content to Omaha citizens and visitors.
Yeah, you bet. We're a proud sponsor. Glad to be a part of the show.
Well, we appreciate that, Corey. And so let's get started. And why don't you give us a kind of the 30,000-foot overview of what Turner Construction's all about, and maybe on the grand scale, and then also here in Nebraska.
Sure. So grand scale, Turner's a North America-based full-service construction services company with 46 offices nationwide, an international firm as well. But I think focused on Turner Omaha, 150 professional staff, another 150 craft. And most people don't realize that we've been doing work in Omaha for 30-plus years, but it's really been the last 10 years where we've made a full-time commitment to this market, and really centered around the resources that we have here that live and work here in Nebraska.
Well, and that's just it. I mean, even though Turner is a big international firm, there's a great team here, and the team locally has deep Omaha roots. Where's the office here in Omaha?
Yeah, 114th and Davenport. So for us, it's really centrally located when we look at the scattering of our projects and clients and people we work with day in, day out. So good location for us.
They're right by Eagle Mortgage.
Yeah, very close to Eagle Mortgage, actually. And not terribly far from our NAI NP Dodge office as well. Well, Corey, let's talk a little bit about some of the market conditions in the construction world right now. We know that interest rates, while still historically are fairly low to reasonable, they've skyrocketed in the last 2 years. How's that affecting construction? What are you seeing first on the national basis, and then maybe kind of give us an idea about what's happening locally, regionally?
Sure. Well, I can say that it's really no secret that it's slowed a bit or maybe tightened, but the exciting part is the number of projects, we don't really see a decrease in that. I think in a lot of ways it's finding creative solutions to get these projects out of the ground. So in large part, when we see nationally, this tightens a little bit more at the coast, but we feel pretty insulated here in the Midwest region. So we're still pretty bullish on all of the projects that we have here locally, and just really the scale of the projects too. So quantity and scale, it's pretty promising for the outlook of Omaha.
But when Turner Construction, and for all construction companies for that matter, projects can go on for a couple years. I mean, the Sarpy County Data Center, you guys have been on it for, 7-8 years now?
Yeah, that's right.
And it's so you've got some lead time, but what happens is that the economy kind of changes, and what's your outlook for the next year or two if you had a crystal ball?
Sure. Well, I would love that crystal ball about 3 years ago, right? That'd have been okay.
It's worth a lot of money.
I think it's just one of the beauties of working for Turner is that we do have a very diverse background in a lot of different markets. So we try to forecast that as much as we can, and then shift some of our priorities to federally funded projects, municipally funded projects where state dollars are kind of infused in some of that development. So that's been a large focus of ours, and we're pretty fortunate to have some large projects out at Offutt Air Force Base.
You got a huge project down at Offutt Air Force Base, and you're big in medical too.
Yeah.
So what has really carried the construction industry? My sense is government projects, medical projects. What else?
Well, I would say that if you look at where the trajectory of our economy is going, really in the tech, advanced manufacturing, those markets are still incredibly strong. A lot of that has to do with federally infused funds into those markets. But I think it goes beyond that. Healthcare is a significant market, specifically in Omaha. But bioscience, ag, those markets are still really strong, even when we feel the tightening from some of the interest rates. How
have construction costs? For the last few years, everybody's like, oh my gosh, construction prices have doubled and land hasn't gone down. And then you've got these 7 or 8% interest rates, and hopefully they'll come down next year. But that's kind of a dangerous mix for especially for a lot of smaller players.
It's a challenging combination for a lot of developers. I'm excited to say that our trends that we're seeing both locally and nationally is that while costs may not be going the opposite direction, they're normalizing. So I think that in large part when we have the ability to forecast what I'll consider normal inflation at a consistent rate, that helps us be really accurate. And developers can build deals around that when you know and you can forecast that. It's somewhat the unknown. So material lead times are normalizing. So they're coming back into a normal route. They're still longer, but they're not as sporadic. Material cost in general are, again, normalizing. So we're seeing some of that steady out to where we have a higher level of cost certainty and predictability when you look at both cost and schedule. So I think it's a big plus for the construction industry moving forward.
How is Nebraska faring to your other markets? Are you a hero or?
Of course he's a hero.
You're always a hero to me. But
thanks, Trenton.
But when you're talking to your colleagues around the country, how's Omaha looking?
It's interesting. I've been fortunate to work in a couple different markets in our north central region, and when I first started, we were somewhat the flyover states in terms of construction, right? The big projects were still on the coast. That's really been flipped on its head over the past 5 years. And when you look at those advanced manufacturing projects, data center projects, those mega hyperscale projects, that's all really been focused, significant input into the Midwest. So Omaha in general is looking really strong in comparison. We're pretty excited about what the future has in store here.
We're talking with Corey Taylor from Turner Construction, and we're going to take our middle of the show break. But when we come back, we're going to ask Corey about a couple of projects that Turner is working on. Trenton foreshadowed one of them with Offutt Air Force Base, but there are some others as well. You're listening to Grow Omaha. We're brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center, and we'll be back shortly on News Radio 1110 KFAB. And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals and Trenton Maggot at your service. We're brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center, and it is time for your commercial real estate development spotlight of the week, brought to you by Noddle Companies. Noddle Companies been in business for a long time. They're headquartered right here in Omaha, but they do work throughout the nation, and they're famous for a lot of things. Some of those things would be headquarters development. Like you go to the new HDR building, the new Kiewit building in the Builders District downtown, go to the Valmont Industries building in Hartwood Preserve, all of those developed by Noddle Companies. And then they're also famous for making places like Exarban Village, the Builders District, Steel Ridge and River's Edge and so many others. So for the Noddle Companies news this week, first thing we have at the Interrail Food Hall at Exarban Village, a new pop-up restaurant. This is when a restaurant's just there for like a short period of time, and it will be today only. It's called La Chilenas, and they serve 4 different types of empanadas. They're going to open in the Interrail Food Hall today at 11, but here's the deal. They're only going to be open until they sell out. And apparently these empanadas are expected to go muy rápido.
Plenty of free parking, ladies and gentlemen, at Exarban Village. So great restaurants at the Exarban Food Hall and throughout the complex.
Yeah, check out some of the other businesses that are there as well. And then Noddle Companies also has the Builders District in North Downtown. And if you haven't driven by the very cool Mass Timber Building at 1501 Mike Fahey Drive, check that out. Right now, when you go by the outer portion down around the first or second floor is encased in glass, but they have it so that the timber, the beautiful timber woods that hold up the building inside kind of show up through the glass. It's going to be a really nice, attractive building. Still not done, but definitely underway. And that is your Noddle Companies Commercial Real Estate Development Spotlight of the Week. We have Corey Taylor with us from Turner Construction. And Corey, we wanted to talk to you about one of the really big projects that you guys are working on here in the metro area. It's a non-kinetic operations center at Offutt Air Force Base. What on earth is that?
And why didn't you get the kinetic operations center?
You only got the non-kinetic.
Yeah, all good questions. Good questions. So we're super excited about this project. It's a $390 million design build, and it gives us really a great opportunity to partner with some local design firms, really great trade partners in the market, and a design assist basis, and working through design right now, and hope to break ground sometime in Q2.
What the heck is it?
Well, the non-kinetic operations, if you were to break down the name a little bit, it's a little bit of an intelligence center, so it's all the things that don't go boom. So it's an opportunity as part of the Offutt rebuild. So when we look at that, there's 3 major projects. This is one of them, and we're just excited to be a part of it. Obviously, there's going to be some things inside the facility that not able to speak to, but ultimately, it's about a 400,000 square foot facility that's going to be in partnership with the 55th Wing there.
How many stories?
4 stories.
Okay.
And then this is, like you just talked about it, this is part of the rebuilding of Offutt Air Force Base, because that 2019 flood more than decimated the base. It took out about a third of the base, and so there have been all that work on the levees and now these big projects. And, the average Omaha area person doesn't notice that because it's on base. You just don't see it. It's not like driving by a skyscraper or something like that.
Right.
But this is a huge project and a huge part of our national defense. That's pretty cool.
When does it come online?
2027 is when we're tracking to have that complete. So we're excited. It's one of those projects that with the design build portion of it, right? There's so much buildup before you actually get to go put a shovel in the ground, but a lot of work behind the scenes up to this point.
Oh, I can only imagine. What are some other things that Turner, Nebraska is working on these days?
Sure. I think there's a large focus on our special projects division and really growing some of those community partnerships. We're going to stay focused in the data center market. That's been a big opportunity for us here, obviously in Sarpy County. So we're going to continue to focus on that and with some of those clients, but ultimately using some of our national expertise in healthcare, advanced manufacturing, and I would say science and tech in general are really where our focus is in and around the metro area. So we've got an exciting bank client. We're starting in Gretna. That'll happen in Q2. Some behavioral health projects that we're launching as we speak. So a lot of upside.
And you're hiring, right?
We are. A lot of postings. I would say that's both on the self-perform side and the our professional staff side. So great opportunities to work on some of these projects we just mentioned and to continue to help us grow here in Omaha.
Just Google Turner Construction Omaha.
That is that's one of our competitors on that project. Is that what you're referring to?
No. He was saying about if people were interested in working.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
TurnerConstruction.com.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
TurnerConstruction.com.
So, speaking of the talent issue, we have been hearing for several years, way before the pandemic started, about the severe shortage of workers who are going into the trades. And supposedly the talent availability is one of the things that sometimes slows down construction projects. Where are we right now, Corey, in that talent shortage? I don't know, can you call it a crisis? But that talent shortage problem right now in the construction industry. Where are we, and how is it trending?
Well, it's a major focus of ours, both locally and nationally. When we look at how this impacts the market, it's not just our staff; it's really our craft. And when we look at how busy we are in Omaha. The biggest limited resource isn't material. It's people. It's the men and women that are out there using their hands every day to put this work in place. And I think that's maybe one of the challenges. And I'm excited to have the leadership of the chamber and some of our legislature that seems to be a major focus of ours here in Nebraska to really grow that workforce, incentivize that people moving to the state and growing their careers through all of these exciting opportunities we just talked about.
Yeah, Heath Mello, the head of the Greater Omaha Chamber, was on the show 2 weeks ago, and he was talking about some things that the state might be undertaking. Could be some things going through the legislature this spring. And we are at a point right now as a state where we need to think creatively. We're doing a pretty good job of pulling people into the Omaha area, and we tend to, compared to the other 100 largest metro areas, be in the top half for population growth, but to get where we want to go, that's not quite enough. We need to ramp up that speed of growth a little bit.
Speed of growth, and I think it really goes to finding innovative ways to still meet the needs of our projects. So that's through offsite construction and prefabrication. How do we continue to push the envelope on that, right? And really rethink what it means to build some of these hyperscale facilities. So that's going to be a large focus as we grow, and I think it's going to be a really large impact to the industry as a whole.
Well, over the past few years, Trent and I have gotten to know a lot of the team members at Turner, and we've always been impressed with the camaraderie, how well everyone seems to get along, and also the community service. Before you go, Corey, give us an idea about some of the things that Turner and Turner employees are doing out there in the Omaha community.
Sure. This has been one of our, I would say, largest focus, right? When we come into a market, we want to make sure it feels authentic, and the one way to do that is really to ingrain yourself into that community. One of the things I'm probably most proud of is our Turner School of Construction Management. We just finished our first graduating class, graduated eight individuals through the class, and I'm proud to say that we actually awarded our first contract to one of the graduates from that program. And second program starting up January 7th. So
How long is the program?
it's a 9-week course, and it's really open book. We share with them all of our processes and everything that we feel like it goes into managing risk on a construction project, and what we feel like it's how to be successful. No one right way to do it. This is just what we found is successful, and we want to share that with some of our underrepresented and small business partners in the community. So something we're really proud of and excited to continue
So
to
these
grow.
are external people that work for other companies that go through the school?
Absolutely. Yeah. So
Okay.
small businesses, whether it be a potential trade partner, other small general contractors, anybody is welcome. So we, like I say, 9-week course, and we talk through everything from finances to safety.
And then you hire them to do part of your jobs.
Yeah, absolutely. We want to, I think that's the ultimate way to pay it back, right, is that train them up and ideally create that opportunity on our projects.
And get them started.
Get them started.
Well, Corey, we appreciate you taking time out of your weekend to talk construction with us. And we also appreciate everything you and your colleagues are doing to make Grow Omaha as good as it possibly can be. Thanks for your support, and thanks for being with us today.
Jeff, Trent, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Our pleasure. Corey Taylor from Turner Construction, and we're going to take our final break of the show, and when we come back, we're going to bring you the appropriately named Turner Construction Lightning Round. So you're listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center. We'll be back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB. And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals and Trenton Magid here in the KFAB studio in downtown Dundee. You're listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing. It is time for the Turner Construction Lightning Round, and of course we've been talking about Turner Construction throughout the show in our interview with Corey Taylor, and we invite all of you to keep Turner Construction in mind anytime you're thinking about starting a project. And the earlier you talk to them, the better, so that they can help you with the planning and getting everything ready for the big day when construction starts. Well, let's get into it. A lot of things on the list this week. First of all, we start with Noli's Pizzeria has opened its new location at 6307 Center Street. That's in a space that at one time was the Blue Planet Natural Grill. It's west of Jimmy D's in the Exarban area.
That's a nice sized place.
Pretty nice size. I don't have the square footage in front of me, but I would agree with that assessment. Culver's is opening a new location Tuesday, December 19th at 171st and West Maple Road. That's in the Whispering Ridge subdivision. And now, Trenton, we got to talk about local restaurants. Everyone loves talking about local restaurants, and there's a new one coming to North Downtown, Dolomiti Pizzeria and Enoteca. It plans to open in the Ashton building. The exact address is 1125 North 13th Street. That's in North Downtown's Millwork Commons district. Dolomiti will have wood-fired pizzas, seasonal salads, cheese, paninis, sandwiches, wine, lots of wine. Another, nice local restaurant creation. And the things in that Ashton building are really impressive. There are a lot of cool businesses in the Ashton. Coneflowers there.
I'm guessing this is farm to pizza.
Oh, farm to, that would be farm.
If you think
to,
about it, everything is farm to table.
Farm to fork.
We're farm to table, really.
Farm to pizza stone, cooking stone. I'm sure it's very, very good.
And they got Cross Strain Brewing there. They've got a healthy restaurant in there.
Great coffee shop. The Sweet Magnolias Bakery is in there. Then a lot of businesses that have offices there or other retail locations. If you have not gone through that Ashton building in North Downtown, go out of your way and check it out, because it's a pretty cool place. So construction has gone vertical on a second Burger Detour restaurant building before the first Burger Detour even opens. So this is a locally owned concept. Burger Detour's first location opening what appears to be fairly soon, because it looks like they're doing some finishing work inside. That's at 183rd and Maple. But the second building that is now kind of up and partially to mostly enclosed is on the southeast corner of 204th and Pacific. Interesting that a new fast food concept is building the first one before the first one's even done.
I'm told that it's going to try to emulate In-N-Out Burger, which a lot of people know the famous In-N-Out Burger. We're always fresh, never frozen. And but the thing about In-N-Out Burger, I just had it in Vegas, is you got to eat those fries within about 4 minutes.
Don't wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They get a little waxy.
They're not nearly as good 10 minutes old.
So it's a new entrance. Let's give it a shot and see how it goes.
Speaking of In-N-Out Burger, it's amazing how much they've been spreading around the country lately.
Mm-hmm.
They're all over Texas now. They're in Colorado.
It's a privately owned company, and there's a lady, one of the nieces of the founders or grand nieces or something like that, and they've had some tragedies in that Schneider family, and so this gal inherited this whole thing.
Getting closer. Who knows? Someday, maybe. The winery, located just east of Westroads in Clock Tower Village, has changed its name to the Winery in Delhi. This business started in 1986, closed in 2019. New owners opened it about a year ago. And now that they're hitting their 1-year anniversary, they're going to have a ribbon cutting to celebrate that anniversary on December 19th. Got a new hair salon known as Pure Salon. That's going to open up next summer at 1404 North 203rd Street. And then our friends at Lockwood Development reported this week that their Antler View development project that will include a Starbucks and a Chipotle Mexican grill getting very close to opening. This would be at 186th and West Maple Road. The Starbucks and the Chipotle will open in January.
And they're the folks behind Crossroads redevelopment, and the horizontal development is pretty much done. So we're just waiting to see vertical over the next couple of years.
Yeah, Joe Finley with NP Dodge writes our residential real estate report for the Omaha newsletter. Interesting couple of statistics. The median sale price for existing homes in Douglas County in November, $275,000. That's up 6% compared to the same time last year. And then Douglas County new construction home price, $435,000 now.
I'm impressed at $275. I thought it was going to be higher.
Yeah, Omaha was famous for such low-cost housing, and it is compared to a lot of metro areas, but definitely have been some increases. Sarpy County, existing home construction, $305,000. New home construction, $430,000. Music's playing, which means we're done. I'm Jeff Beals.
And I'm Trenton Maggot.
You've been listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Turner Construction. We'll chat with you next week at 9 o'clock right here on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.